I'm good, thanks.
What a pleasure. I appreciate you taking a bit of time for us.
You got it.
Now, I said to somebody last night, knowing I might be able to chit-chat with you today, I said, if he gives me the, you want to have a catch line, it's just going to put me away from Field of Dreams.
You're gonna fall apart, huh? that movie had that, had that effect, and we knew it had a chance, but we didn't know we would get there. But it was a phenomenon when it came out, and people still go to that field. They still go to that moment. It's amazing.
It's amazing to me that field still exists.
Yeah, I mean, it's practically the Hatfield and McCoys down there for the people that share the field.
Yeah.
But it does exist. In fact, our band played there on its 18th anniversary. It kind of was an amazing night. We were out, and about 10,000 people came, sat out in the outfield. Although what was funny, there was a line right down the middle of the field because the other owner of the field didn't want us there. So it was like a very bizarre moment. It turned into something magical because after the concert, they dropped a big screen down into the cornfield, and everybody watched Field of Dreams with all the fireflies. It was pretty neat.
Now, tell us the story of Kevin Costner and Modern West, kind of the musical chapter in your career.
Right. Well, this is a group that's made up. Two of the guys that are in this particular band were in the very first band I was ever in. But about 5 years ago, I just decided I would start again to play music wherever I was making movies. I'd find myself in these communities for 2 or 3 months and kind of, basically be some, person that people would spot at the market. And I thought, I'd like to have a more, be part of the community. And I think without it turning into a photo session. And so I decided that I would just start playing music where I was at, and original music, and it just began to grow. This was about 5 years ago, and the next thing you know, we're playing in Russia, we're playing in South America, we play all over the United States, and it came out, it just grew very naturally.
Once music's always been a passion for you. Once your career really took off in Hollywood, the music kind of took a bit of a backseat until a few years ago, but that burning desire was always there.
Yeah, I started to resurrect the music again right around the time that the career was taking off, that I was directing and doing all those things. And I got bit a little bit, by a critic. And I'm not really, afraid of critics, but it was just kind of like, wow, I mean, I've kind of worked so hard for the movies, to work and everything, do I need this nipping at my heels? And I kind of decided at that moment, no, I don't. But it was a part of my life before the movies. And it was only about 8 years ago where my wife said, I don't understand why you're not doing this. I mean, you're the happiest. People who think they want to know you have the best chance to know you through your music. And like a good partner, she really helped me. And so I started without any major plan, just to play. And, 5 years later, we've made 3 records, and we play around the world. And it's been, a real authentic kind of relationship with audiences, and that's what I anticipate having
tonight.
I'm
sure you will. Again, Empire Square Live in downtown Belleville. Tickets still available. You can get those, although they are going very, very quickly at EmpireSquareLive.com. It's interesting to me that sometimes it takes the clarity of your partner, your wife, Christine, to say, you know what, that's really what you should be doing.
I guess that's the essence of a partnership. Sometimes, we a lot of times it gets defined in different ways. Your love, and you're obviously in love, but it's sometimes a partner can take a fear away from you, and it's not like I'm a fearful person. But she's literally looked at me and she said, "What's your malfunction? What are you worried about, really, Kev?" And I said, like a kid, didn't want to eat any vegetables, And she said, "Look, do you think that?" Are you happy, number one, when you're making music? And I said that I was. And she said, do you think that the people that are in front of you are happy? And I said, yeah, I think they are. And she looked at me just in that great way she can and said, well, what could be wrong with that? And I thought, yeah, what could be wrong with that? And so my life is completely, opened up, and it's so great to actually play music for people who have actually gone to the movies, and for those who never seen the movies at all. It turns into a really fun night. People come away, if they want to know me, this is the way to do that.
You know, we hate to admit it sometimes as guys, but more often than not, women are right. They really
She
are.
was right. She helped me. She really helped me, and she helped me in a simple way. She'd been bugging me for about 2 years very softly to do it, and like some guy don't want to mow the lawn or something. But finally she sat me down knowing that I loved doing this, and she helped release me.
Given your love of doing this, though, is this about chart success, or is it just about making good tunes and playing for people who love music?
Well, it really is about playing good music. If it was about chart, that's kind of, then you've got your eye on a different prize. I mean, there's nobody in the world that wouldn't want to see like a song catch on and, and be played everywhere, because that's why you do it. But to do that, you have to be wired that way. And I went in this to play live wherever I was at. And I've kind of kept that. We have made a lot of beautiful songs, and I hope that people find them. I think songs that could really find their way legitimately on radio. But I'm not prepared to go do the young man game of going to every radio station and doing that. I prefer the live experience. I like the authenticity, that something can actually go wrong. There's a real drama when you play live. And I'm very content to do that. I mean, I think the music deserves it. I think the band would really love to see songs, promoted and pushed forward, and the public, could become part of who they are. I think the songs do that, but that was not part of my plan. And right now I'm not prepared to just go beat the drum for that.
Now, really, it's, I guess, more about the connection with the audience, whether it's in Los Angeles or right here in small town Belleville. It's about grabbing the instruments, getting up there and playing some tunes for people who love to hear them.
Yeah, it's really about the party, and we're going to party tonight, and we're going to play loud, and we're going to play long, and we hope that when it's done, people walk away thinking that they've just had a moment.
Now, we're learning a lot about Kevin Costner, the musician. That's not to say that your film career, by any stretch of the imagination, has been put on the back burner, has it?
No, I did slow down here this last 2-3 years. I've had 3 children, so I have ages 4, 2, and 1.
Congratulations on that.
Thanks, and I've given them a lot of time. Now it's time Dad goes out and kind of does what he does, and I will be directing after this musical tour that takes us to Europe. We're going to be leaving for we're going to play France and Germany and Sweden and Denmark right after we play your city and another little city. And then we're going to go across the Atlantic and start to play. When that finishes, I will stay there and make the Hatfield and McCoys. And then after that, I'll probably start directing and just play the second half of my career out, making movies and making music. And it'll be interesting to see if one begins to overtake the other.
Interesting. Now, you speak about entering the second half of your career. Let's move closer to the end of your career for a moment. Had you not pursued music at any point, had Christine not said to you, you know what, this is what you should be doing, at the end of your career, would you kind of feel like something was missing had you not gone down this musical road?
Good question, and the answer is a big fat yes. There's sometimes we know that there's things in us. I mean, people think of you as the job that you do. You're a personality, you're a voice they're used to, but in your own mind, you wouldn't define yourself as just that. There's probably some things in your mind that you either wish you could do, or in some instances, you actually know you could do it. And that's a funny thing, because we live in a life whenever you kind of risk telling somebody something like that, they go, oh, sure, yeah, really. There are those drum beats out there that can hold people from making those second and third choices in their life about, what they think they can do. And, and there's some of us that know in our heart that I could have done that. I could have done that. I tried that. And everybody has those things. And, somehow you have to, try to break free of it. The truth is, the people that sometimes hold us back the most are the people that actually love us the most, because they don't really want us to get hurt. Or sometimes, and you can understand this selfishness, they don't want to see their own life change. And it takes somebody really brave, and I felt like my wife was brave to say, look, I think you should pursue this, because all that meant to her was just a little bit more time away from her, the obviousness of being somewhere else, and that's a lot of bravery.
Sounds like a special relationship. That's great. And full marks to her. Now, here's another question that it might be a big question. It might be tough to answer. Levels of success aside, what's your greatest passion? Is it film or is it music?
Well, gosh, they're so intertwined. When I make movies, I'm often looking for music. For instance, I picked the song "I Will Always Love You" for Bodyguard.
Really?
It was a song that I always known. At first I was going to use the song "What Becomes of a Broken Heart," but it turns out it came out in a movie like a year before, and really started to rack my brain, and I began to think about this song. And when I first suggested it, of course, Whitney's side of the thing, they didn't want a little country song, and I said, well, and Whitney and those guys, that little country song, but I knew that it had a lot of motion, and that really blew their mind when I said we're going to do the first part of it a cappella. That people completely rebelled against that, and they said, look, well, then we have no chance to play it on the radio. And I said, really? Yeah, no one will play that.
No one at all.
So music is something that I take a special interest in, both in when I make my movies, my home movies, videos, and things like that. So I don't really separate it out. I have a high level of interest in both things, and sometimes they're not necessarily exclusive of each other.
It amazes me that because when you think of The Bodyguard, you think of that song and how quickly, if the people who made the movie zag the other way and they take the other song rather than the suggestion, I think it changes everything.
It can, and that's the kind of mystery. That's the beauty. Sometimes a little thing can change everything, and you have to be attuned to that. And I just said to them, I said, look, I'm not going to try to enter into your business. And sometimes the truth is you got to tell a genius, if he's quiet long enough, he might learn a thing or two from you.
Right.
And I said, my thing is, I said, I wouldn't be so sure about that. So before you just go cut off that, 15 seconds, maybe you ought to shove it over there. You mean you got a big enough machine that you could at least say, try it once.
Sure.
And they went, oh, okay. And then, of course, I remember exactly where I was at when I heard that song come on, and it kind of put the hairs on my arm straight up.
You just knew. That
Yeah,
that was...
I ran into Dolly somewhere, walking down a hall, and she saw me from a distance, and she suddenly got this big smile, and as she walked up to me, she goes, I made a lot of money off you. She goes, thanks for putting my little song in that movie of yours.
Well, that's great. Congratulations on the success so far. And again, congratulations on your young family. I've got a young guy about the same age as yours, 4 years old, and I don't know how you have the energy to do it all.
Well, you got to get out on the floor and play with them, and it's got to be as fun for you as it is for them. And pretty soon, the nature of being a father, the work that goes with it, sometimes it turns into the bell at recess. Remember when the bell would go off? Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
It was time to go play. I think what we got to do as we play out our life is we got to look for recess.
Well said. Kevin Costner, thank you so much for this. It's going to be a fabulous show tonight. I know a lot of people around here, a lot of the women, are excited about this.
And I hope the people put on fun clothes and come.
Well, let's issue that challenge. Let's have people have some fun.
Put on their short dresses and put on their cool cowboy stuff and come on.
Kevin Costner, again, safe travels to you. Thank you so much. We get to chit-chat with people from time to time in this business, but I don't think I've ever been so nervous. I could barely sleep last night.
Really? I thought this went smooth, so thanks, Paul.